Imagine this. You're driving down a lonely country road in the middle of the night. The radio hums softly, the headlights barely slicing through the thick West Virginia fog. Then suddenly you see it, a shadow, massive and unnatural, standing just beyond the beam of your lights. It's tall, human-like, but wrong. And then it moves. Enormous wings stretch open, and glowing red eyes lock onto you with a burning intensity that makes your stomach drop. Your foot slams the gas pedal. The car roars as the speedometer climbs, 60, 70, 90 miles an hour. But when you glance in the mirror, your blood runs cold. The thing isn't falling behind. It's flying, silent, smooth, gliding above the road as if chasing you is child's play. This isn't a horror movie. This isn't urban legend campfire talk. This really happened. In the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, during the winter of 1966, an entire community would soon be haunted by one of the strangest and most terrifying cryptid encounters in American history. They called it the Mothman. To understand the Mothman, we need to start with Point Pleasant itself. Back in the 1960s, it was the kind of quiet little town where everyone knew everyone. Life moved slow, the Ohio River rolled steady, and nothing ever truly disturbed the peace. But on the outskirts of town, things were different. There lay the TNT area. During World War II, this sprawling section of land had been used to manufacture and store explosives. The military built long underground tunnels, giant concrete storage domes called igloos, and left behind toxic ponds filled with chemical waste. By the 1960s, the war was long over and the site was abandoned. Overgrown, crumbling, and creepy, the TNT area became a hangout spot for local teens and thrill seekers. It was the perfect backdrop for something unnatural to appear. Locals already thought the place felt cursed, with strange noises at night and shadows moving where no one should be. And it was here, in this decaying wasteland, that Point Pleasant's nightmare first began. On November 15, 1966, two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, were out for a late-night drive near the abandoned TNT plant. The night was quiet, the road empty. Then, in the glow of the headlights, they saw something that froze their blood. Standing in the shadows was a towering figure, nearly 7 feet tall, with enormous folded wings. But what terrified them most were its eyes. Two glowing, red orbs, burning like coals in the dark, staring directly at them. Panic set in. Roger slammed his foot on the gas, the car rocketing down Route 62. 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. But when they looked back, the thing spread its massive wings and lifted into the air. It wasn't flapping wildly like a bird. It was gliding, smoothly, silently, and horrifyingly fast. For several miles, the creature chased their car, keeping pace even when the speedometer pushed over 100 miles an hour. Finally, just before the safety of town, it vanished into the night. The couples didn't stay quiet. They rushed straight to the police, shaking, pale, and desperate to explain what they had just seen. Later, Roger Scarberry told reporters, "If I'd seen it by myself, I wouldn't have said anything. But there were 4 of us who saw it. We all saw the same thing. And here's the kicker. This wasn't even the first sighting. Just days earlier, 2 gravediggers outside Clendenin had reported a strange winged figure flying low over the cemetery. The town had no idea, but something had arrived. After that first night, Point Pleasant exploded with sightings. People saw the Mothman perched on rooftops, standing in fields, and swooping down on cars driving through the countryside. A family's dog went missing after chasing something large into the woods, never to be seen again. Farmers reported giant winged shadows moving across their barns. Even children claimed to see glowing red eyes staring at them from the treeline. Some witnesses said the creature's eyes were so terrifying that it felt like they were paralyzed, unable to move, just locked in its gaze. Others swore the wingspan stretched 10 feet or more with leathery, bat-like skin. And it wasn't just Mothman. Around the same time, people in Point Pleasant reported strange lights in the sky, classic UFO sightings. Some families even claimed they were visited by mysterious men in black suits, warning them not to talk about what they'd seen. The town felt like it was in the middle of something much bigger, as if the Mothman was only one piece of a terrifying puzzle. By the end of 1966, Point Pleasant wasn't a quiet river town anymore. It was ground zero for a nightmare. The sightings of the Mothman stretched for 13 long months. Then tragedy struck. On December 15, 1967, just before Christmas, the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, suddenly collapsed during rush hour traffic. 46 people were killed as cars plunged into the freezing Ohio River below. It was the darkest day in the town's history, and here's where it gets chilling. In the weeks before the disaster, several witnesses swore they saw the Mothman perched high on the bridge, watching silently. Some claimed the creature was seen flying over the river the very day of the collapse. To this day, many believe the Mothman was a warning, a grim omen of catastrophe that no one understood until it was too late. After the bridge fell, the sightings stopped. Just like that, the creature that terrorized Point Pleasant for over a year vanished, as if its purpose there had ended. So what exactly was the Mothman? Theories range from the scientific to the supernatural, and everything in between. Some skeptics argue it was nothing more than a misidentified bird, like a large sandhill crane, which does have red markings around its eyes and can stand over 5 feet tall. Others point to barn owls or herons, distorted by fear and darkness. But believers say otherwise. The glowing eyes, the massive wingspan, the speed, none of it matches normal animals. Some say it was a cryptid, a creature yet undiscovered by science. Others insist it was extraterrestrial, linked to the strange UFO sightings that plagued Point Pleasant at the same time. And then there's the chilling theory that the Mothman was not a monster at all, but a messenger, a harbinger of doom, a supernatural being that appears before tragedy strikes, warning humanity of disasters it cannot prevent. After all, Point Pleasant is not the only place to report winged, red-eyed creatures before catastrophe. Sightings have been tied to other disasters around the world, from Chernobyl in 1986 to the 9/11 attacks in New York. Even though the Mothman vanished after the Silver Bridge collapse, the legend never died. In fact, it grew. Point Pleasant fully embraced its place in cryptid history. Today, the town hosts an annual Mothman festival that attracts thousands of visitors from around the world. There's even a massive metal Mothman statue downtown, wings spread wide, eyes glaring red. What once was a town's nightmare is now its claim to fame. But despite the festival atmosphere, the darker side of the story lingers. For the witnesses who swore they saw it, the Mothman wasn't just a local mascot, it was real. A terrifying creature that no one could explain. To this day, many still believe it was there for a reason, to warn Point Pleasant of tragedy. And if that's true, then maybe we should pay attention the next time glowing red eyes appear in the night sky. So what do you think? Was the Mothman a misidentified bird, a cryptid, an alien, or something far more sinister? Could it really be a messenger of doom, destined to appear before disaster strikes? Or is it all just the collective fear of a small town, spiraling into legend? One thing's for certain, since the winter of 1966, the people of Point Pleasant have never looked at the night sky the same way again. If you enjoyed diving into this terrifying true American mystery, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because there are plenty more real horror cases waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your lights on, and remember, sometimes the scariest things aren't hiding under your bed. They're flying right above your car.